Slow fashion and sustainability are words thrown around the retail industry often, and to understand more about the difference between greenwashing and actual sustainability in the fashion industry, we spoke to Fatima Bokhari. She has been dedicated to reviving the beauty of traditional craftsmanship through conscious design. Well, she moved from banking into fashion many years ago, and here is our interview with her. Fatima, lovely to have you with us today. I'm interested to hear more about your journey, actually, because you've had a bit of an unconventional one. You've ended up in fashion, but you started somewhere very different. You started in banking.
Hi, Tanya. Thank you for having me here on Asia One, and it's a pleasure to be here. Yes, my route wasn't a very conventional one. I mean, I did start in banking, but then I went into fashion because it was motherhood which led me to it. I came to London to do my master's, and I got a job in finance, and then soon after, when living in London, there's so much opportunity here. I always loved baking growing up. I wanted to pursue that, so I did go into patisserie after that, so that the creativity in me was there. I grew up in a household where I had an artist mom, and we were surrounded by paintings and art, and creativity was always encouraged. So I think I went back to my true self. And then eventually living in London, it's like a fashion capital. All the inspiration was there, but it was motherhood really that changed it for me. We just, because of my pregnancy, I couldn't bake anymore. I had severe high premises, and I decided with my mom to create this fashion line, which was initially for me and my soon to arrive child, and we created a range. And then my sister mentioned that there's this arts and craft exhibition, which is very popular in Pakistan, which is called Dachi exhibition. And
I know it well.
Yes, and we thought, like, why don't we showcase this there? And what you've created is amazing, and it was loved by my friends and family, so we did it. So we just launched there, and it was really loved by everyone. And so from baking, I went into fashion, and I used the same brand name, Princess and the Cake, which I had done for my cake business. So then I went into fashion.
So people know who you are. Yeah.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
I'm interested more in finding out a little bit about the artisans that you work with, because that is one of the things, learning about what you do and how all of this came about, which seems to sort of stick out to me most, is your sort of desire and need to keep alive many of these sort of traditional ways of making things that perhaps would otherwise get lost, and the later generations would not have access to the beautiful sort of ways of working.
Definitely. So these artisans from south of Punjab, like they are extremely talented, and they have these, these traditional skills, which are embroidery skills, which have been passed down from generation to generation. And from my grandmother's village, I saw that, and I was like, we need to utilize this, and it has that sentimental value and that nostalgia to it. So I wanted to use their talent, and project it on a more global scale, to see Pakistan has so much of this hidden talent which needs more exposure. And we decided to work with the artisans.
So what kind of, when you're talking about the different methods and the different artisans, what is their craft?
So we use lots of techniques, from mirror work to art to shadow work, crochet. There is still so much potential that we haven't tapped into, but some of the work which has been really admired and appreciated, we are continuing that in our designs, and it's given them a platform, like to showcase their work, even through social media, through our website, everything. It's helping them to showcase their work.
Now, often we find out about these incredible artisans and craftsmen and women because we come across their work, and there's a certain amount of sort of geographical proximity that allows us to do that. You're based in London, but a lot of your, the sort of crafts ladies that you work with are based in Pakistan and in Punjab, I think you mentioned. So how do you sort of stay on the, like, sort of keep your finger on the pulse as to what's going on, you know, which trades you want to keep alive? How do you navigate that with the distance?
So I do, get the chance to travel to Pakistan once or twice a year. And, when we started, it was a very collaborative project, a very personal collaborative project. We worked together to create the first collection. They're not like suppliers making things for me and then I'm just selling them. It's like teamwork. And now, obviously, I live in London because I'm settled here, but we communicate, via phone, WhatsApp calls, through technology. We're able to bridge that gap, and we're in communication daily where we discuss the patterns, the color, the designs, and we go with that. And I do have a team which is on ground, which also deals with them personally, and we create samples together. So that communication is there on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it, to make them feel like they're
Yes.
a part of the process and a part of the final product. Now, you've talked a lot online. I've read some of the articles that you've written, and one of your passions seems to lie in sort of sustainability and stepping away from fast fashion. I want to ask you kind of what that means to you, because those are sort of two buzzwords that tend to get thrown around quite a lot, and it sometimes allows companies to sort of greenwash, and I want to know kind of how you actually implement that into your business.
I mean, there is definitely progress happening and there's a lot of greenwashing, and as you said, sustainability has become commercially attractive, so people are using it, in a way to project their business in that sense. But I think the main, what we focus on is small batch production, in the sense that everything is made intentionally, and it's not just about growth that is, in the sense, because there's a lot of waste in mass production. There is the environmental impact is there, and then we try to adopt ways to reduce that. And even, for instance, from packaging, to use minimum packaging or recyclable packaging. Even our tags, for instance, are seeded tags that you can replant. So just adopting these methods to reduce the environmental impact, and slowing down production, not just, and creating that awareness among consumers as well, that it's not that everything will be available. Like, value the pieces that you purchase, and not encouraging overconsumption.
Yeah, is that what the sort of industry means then when they talk about slow fashion?
I mean, slow fashion is, in the sense, the time that requires to create that meaningful piece. Like, all these techniques are very intensive, and they can take up to 6 to 8 weeks to produce one piece of kurta, for instance.
Wow.
It takes time. It's created with intention, and they're works of art, because every piece is unique, and it is the artisan's individual creation. So that to bring that to awareness, that slow fashion is putting that time, that care to creating that piece of garment that you're going to wear, and that's going to hold that meaning and that story behind it. So not just consuming, like, fast fashion is like disposable packaging. You're just buying, you're following the trends. It's creating timeless pieces, and before even a consumer buys a product, they should see, or any piece of garment, that how long will I use this for,
Yeah.
or why am I buying this?
Just talking about the industry generally, the market seems to be flooded these days with small designers doing amazing things from, you know, Bali to Pakistan to India, all around the world. How easy is it for these small businesses to A, enter into the market, and then B, remain kind of unique? Because I guess once the designs are out there, what stops another company just coming in and doing the same? Like, how do you kind of position yourself in a way which allows you to remain authentic to what you're doing?
I think there are two aspects to that question. What I understand is that for small businesses to survive in this fast fashion, over-consuming, fast-paced, overnight delivery world is to stay authentic to their purpose and having that relationship with, if they're working with artisans, because not all small brands work closely with their production team, whether it's artisans or a small group of people. They could be outsourcing that element from other places, you know, overseas to reduce costs. So I think it is so important to have that relationship with your artisans to keep that authenticity there. And regarding other bigger brands in the market who are, you know, to survive among them and to avoid your work being copied, and you have to just stay authentic to the story, keep telling the story behind the product, because they can't copy that. So that will always stay authentic to you. So that's what we've adopted. We've had incidents where the artisan's work is replicated by brands who are doing machine work. So, but the artisan's effort and the story behind that cannot be replicated. You know,
Yeah.
that cannot be copied. And the artisans seeing their work being appreciated and worn by celebrities or you know, even famous people, socialites who have that platform. I mean, the product is for everyone, but they can help support them and you know, promote the authentic handicraft work. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people with that responsibility can really help them as well.
I think many people, many consumers these days as well, they enjoy the sort of story and the intricacy behind some of the clothes that they buy. And I know there's big sort of marketplaces now where people quite like to say, oh yeah, this is one of a kind, or it's, you know, it's not widely available on the rack. Now, you mentioned there about celebrities. Some of your work featured in Vogue India, I think if I've got that right. And also Pakistani actress and celeb Myra Khan has been pictured wearing some of the pieces that you've made. How does that feel when you see those sorts of things?
I think it's my artisans who get the most excited because they follow these dramas and celebrities on, you know, on these shows, and that's very popular. And then when they see their work being worn, it really gives them a huge sense of validation. And of course, it's exciting for me, you know, because it helps the business grow. It helps showcase their work again on a more international level, because now through social media, the celebrity following is international. And all this, luckily, you know, with God's will, it's happened organically. So it shows that how authentic we are to our brand, and it stands out. And it was noticed, and it was, the craft was appreciated. So it is very meaningful. But I think it's more importantly is the preservation of this craft and to the longevity to keep this going. You know, it's not one viral moment. Yes, that does help us, but it's the continuous sharing of this craft is so important.
What's your sort of one piece of advice to people who perhaps want to start living and buying in a way that is more sustainable when it comes to their wardrobe, and also perhaps understand a little bit more about slow fashion and investing in pieces that are made in that way, but perhaps their wardrobe currently is full of fast fashion, but they want to take that first step to make that transition? What would your advice be?
I think I went through that myself because, especially living in London and studying here, and at that point, I wasn't that conscious. You would follow trends, you would buy, and you're constantly exposed to newness, constant newness. And I think you start slowly and see. You have to be intentional about buying, and my rule is that if I buy something new, I have to let go of something,
Oh.
either pass it on, or either, there's lots of charity shops here as well, but give things which are, in good form, because they are flooded as well, these charity shops. They get bags and bags of things to, reuse. So I think, and also before buying, just see who's behind this product, like who's made it, who's created it. So again, back to storytelling. I think it's the story behind the product.
Well, Fatima, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with us, and especially there, just giving us some advice on the first steps that we can take. Thank you for calling us in from London as well. There we are. That was Fatima Bokhari there. There we go. And just like that, it's Friday again. Have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're up to. Myself and the Morning Asia team will be back on Monday. So we'll see you then.